Here's a confession. Sometimes I struggle with staying rooted in reality. Thoughts that might require some people to be intoxicated or high to think of. I don't usually have a problem slipping into those things when I'm sober. Abstract and creative thinking just come naturally to me. As a kid, I'd sit in my room and I would prefer to play with my Power Rangers by myself because playtime lost its allure when there was another person there. It was almost as if somebody else being there snapped me out of my imagination and back into reality. As I would get older, I'd still find myself being creative, but the imagination and what if factor just seemed to fade. That is until July 4th, 2017. I was laying in my bed when all of a sudden I had a thought that led to another thought, that led to another thought, that led to another thought. And before I knew it, I was pulled down a mine shaft of what ifs and scenarios that nobody could have ever really answered. My wandering and creative mind had turned on me, and now here I was, stuck in my own imagination of my deepest worries, obsessions, and doubts. The last 4 years have had many ups and many downs, but I can confidently say that I'm getting better. Through lots of self-work and support and love and focus, I cannot even begin to express how grateful that I am for everyone that has been so supportive and kind these last several years. I am on the other side of this mountain that at one time felt really big. I know there will be many more obstacles in front of me, but I think that I've managed to sort of navigate this one. I think it's amazing what we can do to ourselves. Not only are there circumstances and situations externally that can affect us, but we as human beings have the ability to create scenarios and realities inside of our mind that can ignite anxiety, depression, and obsession, solely because we've thought of that scenario. There's something that's incredibly astonishing and terrifying and just all out weird about the fact that we can have anxiety about having anxiety. Are you nervous?
No. Should I be? Wait, should I?
Why'd
Why'd you ask that?
I don't know.
Why'd you ask me that if there's nothing to be nervous about?
Leading up to my panic attack in 2017, I was in this place in life where I felt like I had this extreme hold of every aspect of my life. If I wanted to achieve something, I would be able to achieve it because as like attracts like, my pursuit, passion, and determination to meet my goals would eventually lead me to that goal. There was nothing that could tell me otherwise. I think there's something to be said for having a goal and taking into account what it would look like for you to achieve that goal. Let's look at my YouTube channel, for example. If my goal is to have a channel that brings in substantial revenue, I should think about what that looks like. Well, a big component of that status quo would be me putting out content on a consistent schedule. Once I start putting out content on that consistent schedule, I'm now that much closer to living in the reality of that goal. Another way of looking at it might be if your goal was to have a bachelor's degree. Ask yourself what that looks like when you finally have that degree. At that point in time in the future, you'll have already decided on what your degree will be in because you'll have that degree. So the moment that you decide what the focus of area that you'll be studying is, you're actually one step closer to said degree. This backwards induction way of thinking is how I handle most problems in my life. I start at the end and work backwards to the most reasonable and logical beginning. This usually helps me create a roadmap so that I can avoid a paralytic, I don't know what to do next mindset, and allows me to have a great starting point for my goals and aspirations. Even though I realize being analytical works in many situations, there are still quite a few where it doesn't. You really can't plan and strategize your way through your entire life. I know that when I get really attached to this concept of if I do this, then this will happen, and then this will happen, and then this will happen, when even one aspect of that sequence doesn't happen, it's almost like my apple cart gets turned over and I'm left feeling like the world is ending and crashing around me when in reality, maybe one door closed so that a window could open. Maybe life is less like chess and more like checkers, or maybe not even checkers. Maybe it's like a combination of Connect 4 and Scrabble and Monopoly and Gin Rummy and Clue, and maybe not Clue. I just kind of said that because it's my favorite board game. Maybe it's this whole collection of things that sometimes require strategy and sometimes requires you to live in the what if moments. There's this song by John Bellion called Maybe I Don't Know. And one of my favorite lyrics is, maybe I don't know, maybe that's okay. And for me, I think that's a big part of conquering this monster that I seem to face so often. So much of my worry and anxiety stem around this idea of making the right choice, because if I don't, insert bad thing is going to happen. And some days I can avoid it, but other days it feels like that's the only narrative that's getting through to me. And it leads me down this tunnel deeper and deeper until finally I'm lost. And the only thing I can hear is this negative shadow of a thing that feels incredibly loud and simultaneously incredibly empty. And even though I feel like so much of this shadow monster thing exists solely because I'm worried about messing up, I find the awareness of it doesn't make it go away. Some days, the awareness of it doesn't even make it easier to conquer. Despite realizing that I'm afraid to mess up, I haven't magically snapped into this place of extreme confidence because sadly, that's not how the human condition works. Are you ready for Now That's What I Call Life, Volume 28? Don't miss songs like I Still Live With My Parents, Let's Go to Space, grinding till my dreams come true. I will now perform eating, oops, bills are due, and many others. There's never been a collection quite this chart-topping available at such a low price. To order, call the number you see on screen, or send check your money order for the amount shown. But I do think there's something to be said and seen for realizing that about yourself and then not letting it stop you. Recently, I've been working on things and I keep hearing that little voice saying, oh, don't do this because some bad thing is gonna happen. Some days you just gotta do it. Because for me, sometimes that voice is right. But a lot of times it's a little liar. And the best thing to do for little liars is to expose them for what they are. Little liars.
So that's that, little liars. I'm coming for ya. Matt Herdman, Little Liar Bounty Hunter, coming to TLC, fall of 2022.
Oh man, that's like the 4th time I've done that voice. So that's it. That's my video. I hope you liked it. Are you struggling with anything at the moment? Let me know in the comments below. Even if you don't think that you can do this, you've got it. Don't let that little liar of doubt and worry try to convince you that it's bigger than it really is, because it's not. I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel, then hit that little bell so that way you'll be notified whenever I post a video in the future. Don't forget to check out my podcast, Lessons I've Learned, available on YouTube and all podcast streaming platforms. I hope you had an awesome day, because if you didn't, then tomorrow is just another chance to make the day awesome. Peace out, Girl Scout. Peace out, Girl Scout. That was good. I felt good about that one. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I felt good about that one too. I wasn't recording audio. I was not recording any audio. I've got to do it again. Oh my gosh. I felt good about that one.